Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Tim Meyer, here for the Romeo Sports Recap, powered by the Mitt TV. Remember, this show is available on both YouTube and Spotify. And before we begin, a word from our sponsors. This podcast is powered by the Mitt TV of Romeo, Michigan. If you're looking to start a podcast for your business or personal use, look no further than the Mitt TV. They can get you access to equipment, a production engineer, and can even edit your podcast. That's all right here at the Mitt TV of Romeo, Michigan. And you can contact them right now via email at mitt.tvpodcast@gmail.com. That's mitt.tvpodcast@gmail.com. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Romeo Sports Recap. I'm here with Romeo boys varsity head soccer coach Vinny Vasilevsky. And Vinny, congratulations on a great season again. Once again, 30 games you've won in 2 years.
Thank you, Tim. I appreciate it.
This team was pretty successful, but it was kind of, the statistics came out. They were pretty similar to one last year. You know, they scored over 60 goals. They gave up, under 30. Is there a lot of similarities you can draw with these two teams?
Well, yeah. I mean, we got a lot of them back. The guys back from the year before. So, obviously, we returned 7 to 8 starters from last season to this season. So we had a very similar lineup.
But playing in the MAC Red as opposed to the MAC White, is that a big difference?
I think it was a difference, but I've been kind of a pain in the butt, we'll say, with the MAC, because I've been trying to be in the Red for the last 3 years, and we felt we should have been in the MAC last year, and so when we moved up, we felt, the boys felt confident, and when we returned the nucleus, I mean, Owen Perry was back, Braden was back, Connor Utz was back, we added Anthony, Joseph Selai was back, Philip Rostovsky was back. Our pretty much our whole team was back, so everyone was very comfortable with each other this season. And
you had a blow early in the season when Alex Capuso was injured, had a knee injury. I thought he played a little bit this year, tried to play on it, but wasn't the same player.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. He was a great player for us, all-stater as a junior. Definitely someone that could have helped us, make that push and put us over. And, it was sad. It was hard. I mean, he did a lot for the program. And I wish him well in his future. I can't say anything, but he was just a fantastic player for us. But the team kind of galvanized. It was like, oh man, we lost Alex. Anthony had to come in, step up, and the boys all kind of galvanized and worked really hard to keep the standard there.
Do you think that was the formula for their success? Was that they maybe had to all step it up a bit?
I think so. I think it's like 10% of it. I think they already knew we had a team that could do well, but when you lose someone, especially an impact player that can change the game, I think we all gave that extra 10%, help the team get better.
Well, let's talk about some of the highlights for the season. Early on in the season, I mean, you had a pretty good 6-1 start, I think it was, and were kind of on a roll at that point. You felt pretty confident.
Yeah, I did. We lost our first game to De La Salle, who won the D2 state championship. We lost 6-4. You would have thought you went to a West Coast early 2000s basketball game. Our back line wasn't really set right at that point. Owen Perry was playing midfield. After that game, we put him at center back and never looked back. If you take that game out, the stats even better on how many goals a game we gave up. So after that game, we shored up the defense, and we went on a nice roll. I felt really good. Yeah, I mean, you won 8 in a row at one point till you, or 7 out of 8 till you, and one of the losses was to Utica, which that 5-4 loss to Utica, I still don't understand how that happened. 2-1. It was a 2-1 loss. Yeah, it was a weird game. It was our cancer game, our watchdog game. Sometimes we struggle historically in the watchdog. I think I've won 3 out of 8, honestly. It's one of those games. I don't know what it is. It's a long day for the boys. We have the JVB playing, the JVA playing, Varsity playing. We just came off of beating Ike the game before. So a very emotional game. So emotions are high, and now the emotions kind of drop off a bit. We scored the first goal in the first 5 minutes. We were flying, and just, I don't know, we were off. It wasn't a great game. I wasn't very happy. Somehow Utica always finds a way, except for last year, every season they just find a way to just knock us off our rails.
Rain on your parade. It's
kind of a rivalry too. Honestly, it's one of those games. We both want to beat each other. They always give us their best, and told the boys it happens. It was a little hangover and had to move on.
You came back and you won 3. Then you played Eisenhower, and that was a disappointing 3-0 loss at their place, and then
that was for everything.
And it was it was for the marbles there in the league, and it got a little bit nasty in the end, to say the least.
Well, I'll say this: that game, I don't think the score was the story of the game. We didn't give up a goal till there was 9 minutes left in the game, so it was 0-0. A tie keeps us in the race. So we were missing Anthony that game. He didn't play. We had an ankle injury against Anchor Bay. Connor Utz got hurt during the first half, so we were missing 3 starters that game. So we were happy I was happy with a tie.
0-0 at 9 minutes left to go, and you thought,
we had a free kick right before that and just missed. Joseph just missed, the kicker.
Yeah.
Had a great kick, just missed it, and we had pressure on them. But they were the better team that game. Once they scored, I went for it, and the floodgates opened.
Yeah, they got a couple of.
It's like in football,
you blitz and you could get burned.
It's like football when you're on offense and you have to throw the ball. Another team knows you have to throw the ball, and you throw 2 more pick sixes. And
that game, how did that change your team for the playoffs? What did it do to the team, if anything?
I think it kind of showed the boys that sometimes you can't sometimes your B game isn't good enough. Sometimes we played all right. We played good. Well, guess what? You play a good team and you bring a B game, you're going to lose. Or you bring not your A game, you're going to lose to a strong team. Ike's a good team. It's a rivalry. It got a little nasty. It happens, I think.
But it's a rivalry. It's always been an intense rivalry.
Some things got blown out of proportion. I think sometimes, I don't like the nastiness, but at the same time I like it because people come to the game and it's exciting. It's kind of one of those weird things. The kids all know each other, so sometimes I think they're joking. They're joking, but I think they're serious. So then,
the Eisenhower players had, probably didn't know that you were ex-Eisenhower alumni.
Some did, but I don't think so. But, it's funny because people keep telling me, when we played Adams in the regular season, we played Ike, they're like, you treat it like the Super Bowl. I'm like, yes, we treat it like the Super Bowl. I apologize, but yes, we take this game seriously.
Yeah, as you should.
And I'll explain why later as we're talking through all this. But I take those games seriously. But, they only lost 2 games. They lost to us and lost to Adams. Those are Ike's 2 losses all season. So when you play a good team, you can't make a lot of mistakes. We made a couple mistakes. So
let's move in. And we moved into the playoffs, and then we moved into the semifinals. Okay. And you had Anchor Bay your first game. And a 2-1 win. Was it that close, really, or no?
We scored early off a corner. The score was close. I thought in the first half probably could have had a 2-0 lead going into halftime, and we didn't. We missed a lot of chances. So they're kind of hanging around.
The old hanging around, yeah.
And they're one of the biggest teams I've seen all year. They have 3 guys over 6'2". So what happens? We gave up 3 shots the whole game. They get a corner kick, and their tallest guy puts a header in and makes it 1-1. Mm-hmm. And now we had 10 minutes of we were playing terrible. It was just a momentum swing. And, my brother was one of the assistants, Coach Paulo, Coach Igor, like, what do we do? I'm just like, honestly, we're tired. We're discouraged.
Yeah, the momentum.
And usually I don't stay calm, as you know, but I had to really remain calm because I'm like, listen, we are the better team. We just need to weather. They're gonna be all over us for a while. And then that 10 minutes got weathered, and that last 10 we put the pressure on, and we scored with a minute left in the game. So it's one of those. Do I think we were the better team? Yes, but that team works really hard. They're big.
Yeah, and that day, like you say, the momentum shift would probably kids got caught up in it, and that is a problem. I mean, I've seen it happen.
Third time we played them.
Yeah,
you play someone 3 times. I mean, you're playing each other twice throughout the season.
Yeah,
we always say this about districts on any sport. Oh, the seniors. Well, they have seniors too. They don't want their season to end as much as we don't want our. So it was scrappy, but we played well. We kept it together, and I was really proud of the way we finished the game.
And you won, and you moved on to the district championship against Dakota, and that was a 3-1 win for you. A little bit of a cushion there at the end, but Dakota's a good team, and you seem to handle them pretty good.
Yeah, I don't know. For some reason, we match up. I'd say us and Anchor Bay play them a little more similar, a little more direct, and like Dakota plays more of a Ike style. They like to pass it around, and Ike was just a little bit stronger than them this year. So when we played Dakota, we pressed them a lot, put them under pressure.
Like you did in the Ike game, that game, that
the
you
home
guys
game.
lost, but
both games.
Yeah, I mean, your guys were right on top of them.
Yeah, we played really well that game. That was 0-0 too, though. We go into halftime at 0-0. It's like, guys, we got to finish. We cannot miss chances.
Did you have opportunities in that first half that you thought should have?
Anthony hit the post, and we had a header that their goalie made a Spider-Man-like save. It probably should have been 1-0 at halftime. Yeah. I felt good about the way we played was fantastic. That was probably, take away the goal, we played very well the first half. And then the second half, again, we're missing, couldn't find a way to score. We get a free kick with 24 minutes left in the game, and Joseph puts one right in the corner, makes it 1-0, and the game just sort of opened up because everyone's playing tight. You don't want to give up a goal.
He's used to that pressure from kicking field goals.
Oh yeah, he put it right in the corner. It was a great finish, and then Anthony scored a really nice goal. He scored a header right after that, and then he scored another one right after that. He burned 3 guys and scored a third one. So it was 3-0. And then Dakota scored with about a minute left in the game when it was kind of over.
It was over. Yeah, it was over.
Yeah, it was a great.
It was a good win, district win. You won the championship in the district. So I mean,
it was a lot of people from the community were there. I can't tell you, it was just an amazing day.
Your father's proud of you.
Oh yeah, he was there. He was proud of me for sure. Greg Breinert, the old AD from Romeo, he showed up. He's the one that hired me 8 years ago, and that was awesome. And Cody and I got to share the moment, and everyone went to B-dubs after, and everyone's hanging out with the trophy. And
that's cool.
We smelled the roses for a little bit. I wanted the boys to enjoy it because
they should.
It was a good win.
Yeah. And you went to the regional semifinals where you played a team, Lakeview. That's the Lakeview down at St. Clair Shores, right? Yep. And surprisingly, they're a pretty good soccer program down there.
They do. They have a lot of travel players at that team. They're well coached. Simon Myers is a very good coach. I haven't seen a team work that hard. They worked really, really, really hard. Kind of like Coach Carter. It's like you make up for the lack of talent with hard work. Kind of tied us up in knots. I felt we had control of the game, but just couldn't score again.
Early.
Tough fouls and physical game. And the Adams coach actually came up to me. He's like, was it one of those games where you have control of the game and you're not overly worried, but you're like, man, it's still 0-0 though. What the heck is going on? I gave us a B- that game. It wasn't our best game either, but we controlled the game well, and Anthony scored again, and Philip scored, put the game away. We gave up two shots on goal. I mean, there's not much to say to your team. The kids are kind of discouraged, like, man, we felt like we could have done better. I'm like, guys, let's give it up for the defense today. We didn't give up anything.
And anytime you put a goose egg up, it's always nice.
For sure.
So you're in a regional. You won the regional semifinals, and you're going to the regional finals, and you got to play again, Rochester Adams with I think they have 16 seniors, 4 Division I kids on the Dream Team. They have Mr. Soccer, and you guys go into their place, right?
I went to Berkeley. Put them at Berkeley. Yeah.
Berkeley. What was that? How was that different than going over there? Was it any special difference?
There was a lot of people there. Adams had a lot of fans. We had a lot of fans. because it's the regional final, there's the regional meeting after, so a lot of other schools' coaches were there watching the game. I would have liked to have been closer to home because it is a little bit far.
Right.
Nothing crazy. I mean, I played at Berkeley. That's where I was at Ike, we played there. That's where we played our state semifinal. I feel like Hurley always has the big games. It's interesting.
Yeah. What? So tell me a little bit about that game. 0-0. You're playing them pretty good. I mean, they got these nice players. You got good players, and they found that out because you tied them earlier in the year. So, I mean, what was your feeling as the game was progressing?
Yeah, I felt good. They're very fast and very talented and well coached. Josh Hickey's won a championship 2 years ago. They lost in the regional final last year to Athens, Athens won the whole thing. So they have a lot of their coaches know how to get to those games. Multifaceted, they pass well. Oh, they can play long, they can play short. I mean, there's not many teams that can play any style. Mm-hmm. They have a dream team goalie. So now they're hard to score on. They have a good goalie. But we held them pretty good. We gave up a few early chances. A little bit the nerves kind of got to us, but we settled in. And Alex Rosien scored. He scored a great goal. I mean,
yeah,
he made a couple nice moves, put it right in the corner. Sometimes you just clap and you say, "Nice goal, man."
Yeah, it's no mystery why it was Mr. Soccer.
No, but what I will say is the boys. We had a game plan. We executed the game plan. We didn't sit back. We played like a medium press, so. Not all the way up like we usually do, but not all the way back because I just knew if we did that, we're pretty much hoping for a tie, which you're in a regional final. We claim to be a top 10 team, so let's act like a top. Let's play them. We played them pretty straight, very similar to how we played them the first time.
Yeah.
Actually, this time we just played for, listen, we're dangerous on those long throw-ins. Jacob Summerfield with his 40-yard throw-ins.
Yeah.
We score 1 out of every 8 corner kicks we get, we score. Through the season. That's our stat. So if you get 8 corners, we score every game. So that's not a horrible stat.
No, it's pretty good stat.
15% of the time we're scoring on a corner kick. Told the boys, can we get 10 corners? If we do that,
one of them's going in.
Coin flip. It's a
one
coin
of them's
flip.
going in
because we're not going to give up more than 2 goals. We don't give up more than 2 goals to too many teams. We had about, I think, if you combine the long throw, a true long throw and opportunity in the corners, we had 14. So we did execute what I asked them to do. We just didn't finish those opportunities. And I was proud of them. They did what I asked. We created enough to, I think, make danger. And
created the opportunity, with the corner kicks. I mean, it's a historic achievement for Romeo. I mean, marking the first time that a Romeo soccer team has made an appearance in the Final 8 in the program's history. So kudos to you and the boys. For doing that. And, out of that, you had first team Division I player was named first on the first team Division I player, Anthony Elias, and then honorable mention Mikel Samaj made honorable mention as a midfielder. But I think there were others that played well for the team this year too.
Yeah, we actually had. I'll tell them at the banquet, but we had 7 all-district players this year. I think it's the most I ever had.
Wow.
I mean, I honestly felt bad. I felt we maybe deserved 9. But, coaches vote. You got to, share the wealth. But we had 7 all-district players. That's 60% of our lineup was on the all-district team. The 2 notables I think deserved a little more were definitely Braden Burke and, Owen Perry. And before I talk about Michael and Anthony, I just think those 2 guys, without them, we just don't get where we get. And I was disappointed. And I let a lot of people know I was disappointed. I'll tell anyone to their face that I'm disappointed. I think our team deserved a little bit more respect than that. And I think those 2, they both returned. They're both juniors.
Well, okay. So there's a little bit of a fight going into next year, a little bit of a spark for the Romeo Bulldogs next year. Talk about the team coming back next year. You got some nice players coming back.
I definitely will. I wanted to just touch base really quick on Anthony and Michael, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Anthony scored 28 goals in the season. The school record for career goals is 29. He scored 28 in one season.
Yeah.
He had a great year. Stepped up. I mean, what can you say? That guy got first team All State. He played, coming from academy. A lot of coaches. I talked to a lot of coaches with academy players. I'd say Adams and myself were the lucky ones this year. Sometimes an academy kid comes in, hasn't played high school. They just think they're better than everybody. And, high school's got a wide spectrum of players, different teams, different, some kids want to go to college. Some kids are like, hey, this is it. After this, I'm done. And you have to find a way to mix them together. And when you get an academy kid, sometimes it's almost a reverse effect. They create negative energy. Anthony was the opposite. Became a captain after the first few weeks after Alex got hurt, and came in and stepped up and had a good attitude and delivered. I mean, he delivered. Scored a lot of goals and got injured towards the end, missed the Ike game, and came back for the playoffs on an extremely well-taped ankle, and played well and kept us going. So I got to give a kid a lot of credit. Michael, great player as well, played in the midfield, not as much stat-driven, but whenever he's on the field, there's just a calm about him. Just controls the ball really well. A lot of the coaches noticed him, and I'm like, it's when you're good, when your stats maybe aren't like an Anthony, but people go, yeah, that kid stuck out.
Yeah, he's a good athlete. You can see the way they move, the way they think, and how they play their game.
Yeah, and then with Braden and Owen, I just got to say, you see the stats, 29 goals we gave up. If you look at the MAC, we gave up like 5 in the whole season.
Yeah.
And you go, okay, well, Owen was our center back. Was there a better guy than him in our district? I don't think so, but I guess some others did. And then Braden had 21 assists. How many kids have 21 assists? I don't know. But they're going to come back hungry.
And that's a good thing for the program. What else you got coming up for the program that you think is some players that may be going to have to step up next year and think that they will step up?
Yeah, obviously, I think Owen and Braden coming back is going to be big. Joseph Selai is back. So if you look at our lineup, you got we lose Ethan in goal, so we're bringing up JV goalies. We got 2 right now, Christian and Paulo. Both did a great job when they each played 3-4 games.
None of them 6'10" or anything.
No 6'10", but they're working hard, and I thought they did a good job. They got their letters this year. They played some games, got some experience. I think we needed that for sure.
They needed it for sure. Yeah.
And we had from our 4 defenders, we got 3 of them back. So we lost Connor, but we keep Summerfield, we keep Owen, we keep Bryce Holt. And all 3 of them were absolutely fantastic this year in the back. Got Braden back, got Joseph Selai back, got Philip Rostovsky back. So, I mean...
is there any superstars coming up from the JV? Of course, if they were superstars, they'd be up there already. But anybody you think might be a good factor next year?
We brought up Robbie Raska. He played in the playoffs for us this year. He missed a couple chances, but he's super fast. He can fly up the field. So
he's a sophomore?
He's a sophomore, yep.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have a few sophomores that didn't get a lot of time this year that I think will step up. I think Philip Rostovsky, 13 goals as a sophomore for Varsity this year. He's going to be replacing Anthony up top, and we're going to expect a lot from him. I mean, he just turned 15, and he scored 13 goals. I mean, what do you say? I mean, you got to have some expectations.
I mean, you have a culture established now with Romeo soccer. Both teams this year and last year winning 15 games. It's a legacy thing now what you're building on, and I can only relate to that. As you know, is broadcasting Eisenhower football in the early 90s, and it just seemed like we were on a roll for about 7 years, 8 years, if you include Joey Youngblood's years. But it was so confident the way the guys went in. They were from this school, and they know what they were doing, and had good coaching, which helps a lot. But that's the kind of thing I see happening here with Romeo Soccer.
Yeah, I mean, I feel good. The last 2 years, 15 wins each season. The year before, we had 13 wins. So, 43 wins in 3 years. I'm really. I mean,
you keep that pace up, you're going to be in the Coaches Hall of Fame here.
Well,
we'll be seeing you up at Central Michigan.
You know, I'm only 36, so hopefully,
yeah. Well,
I'm not that old yet. Like some joking. Some of those old guys are. No, but there's definitely a culture. The boys know what I expect. We run all summer. You get out of school.
Yeah, you told me that before. You run the kid to death.
3 miles a day. It's 3 miles a day, Monday through Thursday.
I'd be putting like sleeping pills in your water, man.
They're running. They're working hard, and when you work hard and you have a little bit of talent, you can do a lot. I hate shouting out to De La Salle, but De La Salle is known for that. Coach Mokhtar. They didn't always have the team that you would say, oh, but they just won a D2 state championship. They work hard, man. You get a little talent and you work hard at the same time. That's when good things happen.
It's a good recipe.
You have to work hard. I think the one thing I'm so proud of every year, but these last 3 years is every coach. Man, Vinny, your team works hard. Yeah. You outworked us. We don't get outworked a lot, and that's what I'm really proud of.
That's a great
aside from the record, that's the best compliment you give a coach.
Well, Coach, we're going to look forward now. I mean, big time to getting a hold of you in August of next year and seeing how exciting the season is going to be for you. Congratulations once again in a historic season with the Romeo Varsity soccer team.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
We'll be back to talk to some of the players right after this.
Before we continue, here on the Romeo Sports Recap Show, a word from our sponsors.
This podcast is powered by the Mitt TV of Romeo, Michigan. If you're looking to start a podcast for your business or personal use, look no further than the Mitt TV. They can get you access to equipment, a production engineer, and can even edit your podcast. That's all right here at the Mitt TV of Romeo, Michigan. And you can contact them right now via email at mitt.tvpodcast@gmail.com. That's mitt.tvpodcast@gmail.com. Now back to the show. Welcome back to the Romeo Sports Recap Show. I'm here with some history-making Romeo soccer players, Anthony Elias and Braden Burke. And gentlemen, welcome to the show. Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, thanks for having us on. Thank you.
So we just spent some time with Coach, and he kind of fill us in on your season a little bit. Another 15-win season for the Romeo Bulldogs, 2 years in a row. And then you, for the first time in Romeo Bulldogs soccer history, you made it to the regionals, Final 8, if you will.
Yeah.
It wasn't without adversity along the way. Talk a little bit about some of the regular season things, the ups and the downs. It is a long season. You guys play a lot of games.
Yeah. So we'd probably average around 2 to 3 games a week. Some of these games being like big conference games, other ones being non-conference games that we take pretty lightly. But, there's games that like that Lakeview team that we saw in the regional semifinals. We played them earlier in the year. We tied them 3-3, but our team was going into that game thinking we were going to mercy them. So it's games like that, and then there's games that we play, like our first game against Ike. We came out and beat them 2-0. I know some kids on the team doubted that we could keep it that close, and we ended up beating them 2-0. So, there's always those games that you come in confident, and it doesn't show up how you're meant to be, but that there's also games you go in confident, and you play how you're meant to.
And Anthony, you put the pumpkin in the basket there this year. One shy of the Romeo record?
One shy of the all-time record.
Yeah.
28.
Yeah, what did you how'd you do all that?
Honestly, I got to give it to my teammates, though, especially Braden, for giving me all the assists, because, I wouldn't be able to do it if they can't get the ball to me, so. And I did it, too. Missed 3 games because of my injury. It hurt my ankle. So.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So if he had those 3 games, he definitely would have beat it for sure.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but it is what it is.
It's going through your mind. Do you know when you're going to score? Do you have a good feeling that you're going to score on certain plays?
Most of the time, yeah, I would say. Sometimes it's maybe a couple times I was like, I didn't expect that to go in, but.
Yeah. Braden, the year that you guys had was probably I don't know, it was in the MAC red. So you were in the MAC white last year. Did you notice much of a difference?
So last year, all those games were always really close. Like, it's always like the rivalry with Utica, the rivalry with Henry Ford. We came up into this year like expecting hard games, and then that's what we got. I mean, Anchor Bay, tough team. Dakota, tough team. Eisenhower, obviously a tough team. I feel like every single game was always like you had to go into it thinking it was like a state championship game. Like, every single game was really competitive. You can't really like take any MAC red games lightly. Like, even the bottom of the table, like Utica, they finished towards the bottom of the table and they beat us. That was one of our 2 MAC red losses. So I mean, the whole league is just competitive. You can't really take anything like too lightly.
And what are some of the players? Who are some of the players that maybe kind of surprised you that stepped it up this year?
I would say definitely Owen. At first, he was supposed to play
Owen Perry.
Yeah, Owen Perry. At first, he was supposed to play it in the midfield, but I think it was like second or third game he got switched to center back, and he really stepped it up. I mean, he was like one of the biggest parts of our defense, honestly. Saved us a lot of times, and honestly, did his part back there, 100%.
Yeah, I'd also say Patrick Salmai.
Yeah.
A senior this year, obviously. Last year as a junior, he didn't get the minutes. We had a pretty tight midfield, and this year he came in, started almost pretty much every game, and pretty much dominated the midfield. Me, him, and Michael, the twin, they're brothers. So Michael and Patrick would have that chemistry, and then I'd be in there with them. But Patrick stepped up amazingly well this year for sure.
Did they seem to have a brother chemistry there?
100%. Yeah. Got to see him play. It's crazy.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's fine. What are the biggest moments for you guys this year individually? What was your favorite moment?
I gotta say, I mean, winning the district for the first time.
Yeah, winning that district was probably the best feeling I've had in years. But lifting that trophy with the whole team, and
100%.
That Dakota game was
in Anchor Bay.
Oh yeah,
played
that
him
last
3
second.
times.
Yeah, that was a great feeling too. It was,
1 minute left. I rip a free kick in and bounce off the goalie, and he finishes it. So you can't ask for anything better.
That was a great moment too.
Yeah, but it's sweet when you. Victory is sweet. And
it's amazing.
Especially the first time that, you guys
100%.
got in there. After that game, though, I mean, what were you thinking there? I mean, oh my gosh, we may have a shot at this.
Yeah. I mean, after that game, I think that was our toughest. I think if we would have went into overtime in that Anchor Bay game, I don't think we would have held on.
Yeah.
We were falling apart towards the end, so because we scored early and then they came back and they kind of controlled the game the whole second half until that final play.
Yeah.
So,
and after winning that district, winning that Lakeview game, it's like we tied them earlier in the year. But we kind of knew that we had the edge on them. Like, I feel like the team knew that we definitely could have played way better when we played them the first time. So first half we came out, we tied 0-0. But the second half we really knew like we don't want this to be our last 40
minutes. We had some
minutes.
chances in that first half.
Oh yeah, we had plenty. Yeah. But that last half, we didn't want it to be our last 40 minutes of our high school season, so we really stepped up, ended up winning 2-0 and made it to the regional final.
Yeah, that Lakeview game definitely was not our best game, we could say.
Yeah.
Either of them, even when we versed them in the regular season and the regional semifinal, we as a team we did not play as we usually do.
You drew a Rochester Adams team that was kind of loaded with star players. And you're doing pretty well there against them. But when you went into that game, what was the mentality going into that game? I mean, you tied them earlier in the year, but I mean, this is now kind of bigger chips on the table.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think we all went into it like pretty confident. Honestly, like we should win, because I mean that's how you should go into it. But I mean, yeah, we also didn't have Connor that game, which was really a big loss there. But I mean, yeah, we definitely went in confident because we tied them before. We knew we could do it again. Honestly, pretty unlucky game. We played good, but we knew we had to have our A game to even come close. So we played pretty good that game, but they obviously came on top.
Were you kind of mad after? I mean,
yeah.
Very, very upset.
Yeah. The guys, it's difficult on those big losses that you just kind of, when all the chips are in the thing, but you got better. You now are kind of looking forward to next year. You've got some honors for yourself, and then you got to come back, and now you got to be Mr. Soccer, right?
Well, him now, because this is my senior year.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm a junior, yeah.
Yeah, right. So you got to come back and be Mr. Soccer.
That's the goal. That's the goal next year for sure.
How do you feel about next year's team?
You know, a lot of people say that, like, I mean, walking around school, they're like, oh, you're losing Anthony, you're losing Michael, you're losing Patrick. But we have these kids that were on the bench this year that are top players too. They couldn't even see the field because we have, like, Anthony on the field, and you can't really take Anthony off. So, and then there's kids in the midfield like Gabe Fallon that's going to come and step up. He got good minutes this year when Patrick needed a break, but Gabe's going to be great in the middle. Defense pretty much stays the same except Connor. So we're going to have somebody step up into that position. We're losing our goalie. We had 2 goalies play with us this year, though, Christian Makovsky and Paulo Yakabachi. So, I mean, defense pretty much stays the same. Midfield, we're going to need people to step up, but, you know, we got me, Gabe, and hopefully someone else. And then our up top, we're still keeping Philip Rostovsky, who's going to be a junior next year. He's been playing since he was a freshman. I mean, top player. And then Joseph Seelai, who's the kicker for the varsity team. He's a great player. He finishes when we need him to. He does everything we need. So we just need some couple kids to step up, and I think we're going to have a great year also.
And what's Anthony going to do now that he's done with soccer for high school anyway?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still going to play for club this year, and the goal is to play in college, but I'm nothing decided yet. Hopefully
Okay.
later in the year, we'll see.
And how you going to train? I know Coach says that he likes to run you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the summer, definitely.
Don't you hate him for that?
I mean,
As a
you do.
fat kid, I always hated running.
Yeah. I mean, you hate it in the moment, but once you get in the season, you're like 75 minutes into, you have extra time, and you're like, that really paid off because if you watched our games, you could for sure tell that we're way more conditioned than the teams that we're up against most of the time.
What does Braden like to do when he's not doing soccer?
Hang out with my friends, family, and play soccer too. Like, I have club practice every single day. And games on the weekend, so soccer pretty much runs my life. Soccer and school for sure.
Yeah. And what about you, Anthony?
Honestly, pretty much the exact same thing. School, soccer.
You guys are going to fit really good in Europe because that's all they do over there.
That's all they do.
I mean, I was there for 2 weeks a couple of weeks ago, and I got to tell you, I was trying to get NFL football and the TVs, and I had to go to a British pub to get it. And
Yeah.
even then, I was getting looked at, you know. But even the cities, teams, and stuff, you know, that takes precedent. They get big press, and
Yeah.
and that and Formula One.
Yeah.
I don't know. I never figured that out. But anyway, I survived. I survived the Dutch playing some team from Lisbon, and
Yeah.
they were for the whole day. They were out in the town squares and just
Yeah, it's a big
raising
thing
it up.
over there.
I mean,
For sure.
I didn't think the Dutch could drink that much, and I didn't think they could sing that much either.
Yeah.
But it was fun. Guys, this is, man, I sure look forward to next year and just seeing how it comes out.
Yeah.
I'm sure if you guys work hard enough, you got enough talent, right?
For sure.
You know, so if you work hard enough, you'll make it, right?
That's the goal.
Yeah. All right. Well, I appreciate you coming on the show. Congratulations to you, and this is a great season for the Romeo Bulldogs, and hopefully next year will be even a greater one.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Rochester Adams graduates all those seniors.
Yep.
You know. Anyway, thanks a lot for stopping by.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for joining us here on the Romeo Sports Recap. We'll see you next time. I'm Tim Meyer for the Mitt TV.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in to this episode of the Romeo Sports Recap Show, powered by the Mitt TV. Remember, this show is available on both YouTube and Spotify. You can subscribe to the Mitt TV YouTube page and click the notification bell to stay up to date on the latest episodes of the Romeo Sports Recap. Or you can find us on Spotify and follow our podcast, Romeo Sports Recap. From the Mitt TV, I'm Tim Meyer, signing off with a final word from our sponsors. This podcast is powered by the Mitt TV of Romeo, Michigan. If you're looking to start a podcast for your business or personal use, look no further than the Mitt TV. They can get you access to equipment, a production engineer, and can even edit your podcast. That's all right here at the Mitt TV of Romeo, Michigan. And you can contact them right now via email at mitt.tvpodcast@gmail.com. That's mitttvpodcast
mitttv.podcast@gmail.com.